Have you ever felt completely lost in your studies, unable to focus even after spending hours trying? It seems that the harder you try, the farther you get from the results you want, and the frustration only grows. Don't worry, you are not alone. But what you might not know is that the answers to these challenges were taught centuries ago through stories of wisdom, like the one I am about to share. Imagine a young, insecure student, struggling to focus, who seeks the help of a wise Buddhist monk. What he learns on this journey changes his life completely, and it could change yours too. This Buddhist story is about a young boy and a monk who holds deep lessons on how to increase focus, study more in less time, and truly transform how you approach learning. It's not about magical formulas, but practical teachings from Buddhist teaching that you can apply to your life right now. Are you ready to discover the secret that could revolutionize the way you learn? Then prepare yourself, because the lessons from this monk will show you the way to a new level of productivity and clarity. The life of a young student can be truly challenging when it feels like the whole world is against him. This boy, who had always struggled in class, became the target of jokes and scorn among his classmates. With every exam, his low grades pushed him further into a spiral of low self-esteem, making him believe that he wasn't capable of achieving anything better. Even his family, who saw him as a problem, was constantly disappointed, which only reinforced his sense of failure. This is a situation many young people face, and the pressure to meet expectations can crush any chance of success. Frustration grew with each failed attempt to study, creating a vicious cycle of discouragement and procrastination. No matter how hard he tried, he felt his mind was never truly present. Always distracted, his focus would vanish within minutes, and his confidence followed the same path. Imagine the impact this had on his life. Being stuck between the desire to improve and the inability to act can be paralyzing. But as they say, sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. The boy, already on the verge of giving up, received a valuable tip from a friend. His friend mentioned a Zen monk staying in a nearby town, known for his wisdom and ability to guide those who felt lost. Could this be the answer to the boy's problems? Perhaps his journey of self-discovery was about to begin. Upon hearing his friend's recommendation, the boy, already tired of so many frustrated attempts, decided he had nothing to lose. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, he set out for the neighboring town, where the monk was temporarily residing. The journey was long, but with every step, he felt a small spark of hope rekindle in his heart. Maybe, finally, he would find the answer he had been seeking. It was as if, in some way, this visit marked the beginning of his journey towards self-discovery. When he arrived, the boy saw the monk meditating calmly under the shade of a tree. Not wanting to interrupt, he sat down quietly and waited patiently, while the peacefulness of the scene around him seemed to envelop his mind. The silence of that place was something new to him, a complete contrast to the chaos of his school life. Finally, the monk opened his eyes, and with a gentle look, invited the boy to approach. With a trembling voice, the boy explained his struggles, hoping that this wise figure could offer more than just empty words. The monk, listening carefully, slowly nodded his head and, in a serene tone, said, "Your problem is not only with your studies, but with how you see yourself." This marked the beginning of a series of teachings that would change the boy's life. The monk knew that for any real progress to happen, it had to start from within, planting the seed of transformation. In that brief conversation, the practice of mindfulness began to take root, something that would be essential in the next steps of his journey. The monk looked deeply into the boy's eyes, as if he could see all his insecurities. "The first thing you need to understand," he said, "is that you cannot measure yourself by the judgment of others. Your true strength lies in how you see yourself." The boy, who had always seen himself as incapable, began to realize that maybe he was trapped in a limited view of himself, influenced by the criticism of his classmates and teachers. Buddhist teaching reminds us that perception shapes reality, and that it's possible to change how we think about ourselves over time. The monk went on to explain that by nurturing negative thoughts, the boy was building a distorted image of himself. When you see yourself as incapable, that's what you become. But if you believe you are capable, that you can overcome these challenges, the change starts to happen. These words resonated with the boy, who had never thought that the solution could be so simple, yet so difficult, to change his mindset. The first step in his self-discovery would be to let go of others' opinions and start cultivating a new vision of himself. The monk offered a simple exercise for the boy. Every time you catch yourself thinking you're not good enough, take a deep breath and say to yourself, "I am capable. I have worth." It may seem silly, but it's a powerful way to reprogram your mind. Gradually, the boy would come to understand that this constant practice of self-affirmation, along with the technique of mindfulness, could open new doors for his future. Real transformation, the monk said, begins in each of our hearts. Noticing the growing curiosity in the boy's eyes, the monk continued, "To increase your concentration and study more in less time, meditation is your greatest ally." He explained that, by focusing on his breath, the boy could bring his mind back to the present and push distractions away. This wasn't just a relaxation technique, but a practical tool to sharpen attention. The monk then suggested a simple technique. As the boy breathed deeply, he should count from 50 to 1, each number recited on the exhale. This exercise, according to Buddhist teaching, would help clear the mind and prepare it for deeper focus. The boy, used to wandering thoughts, wondered how he could focus for such a long time. The monk smiled, as if he could read the boy's thoughts, and said, "At first, your mind will wander. That's normal. But with practice, you will realize that it's possible to bring your attention back whenever it strays." This practice of mindfulness would not only help the boy concentrate on his studies, but also discover more about himself. With each meditation session, he would be taking an important step towards self-discovery, learning to command his own mind rather than being controlled by it. Over time, the monk assured the boy, he would experience a mental clarity he had never known before. Meditation is not just about sitting in silence, the monk said, it's about training your mind to be more focused and resilient. The more you practice, the less time you'll need to spend studying because your mind will be as sharp as a blade. And so, the boy began to understand that the key to overcoming his academic challenges lay in controlling his attention and focus. After discussing meditation, the monk pointed out another crucial aspect of success: discipline. He explained to the boy that to achieve consistent results, it was essential to create a structured routine. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, said the monk, with a calmness that made the boy reflect. This meant setting fixed times for studying, sleeping, and even for meals. By repeating these actions daily, the body and mind align, and the habit of learning becomes natural. In this way, studying would stop being a burden and become a fluid part of the routine. Imagine you are planting a seed, the monk continued. It needs constant care to grow strong. Your mind works the same way. Studying at the same time every day would create a rhythm, and soon the boy would notice that his mind was ready to absorb knowledge at exactly that time. The strength of discipline lies in shaping the mind to expect and eventually crave learning. Additionally, the monk recommended the boy set simple daily goals, like reviewing a chapter or solving a few exercises, to keep his focus and motivation alive. The boy then realized that the key to progress wasn't just studying more, but studying consistently. Creating a daily study routine, with strategic breaks, would allow him to get closer to his goals. Gradually, he would feel the benefits of this practice in other areas of life as well. After all, discipline, like self-discovery, isn't limited to just one field, it's applicable to everything we seek to achieve. With discipline in place, the monk moved on to explain the importance of being present, both physically and mentally, during classes. True learning begins the moment you step into the classroom, he said, emphasizing that it wasn't enough just to be there physically, one had to be attentive to every word, every explanation. He taught the boy that, by fully paying attention during lessons, the effort needed to study at home would be much less. Most students waste that precious learning time, distracted by other things, but true wisdom lies in making the most of every minute of teaching that is offered. The monk suggested that the boy take quick and clear notes during the explanations, without neglecting to engage with what the teacher was saying. In this way, he would keep his mind active and ensure that by the time he got home, the work was already almost done. This technique would not only save time, but also guarantee a deeper retention of the material. Actively participating in class would be like watering the plant of self-discovery, feeding the mind with the right content at the right time. If you don't understand something, ask, the monk advised. Many students are afraid to expose their doubts, but real learning requires the courage to admit when something isn't clear. The boy began to realize that being active in class would not only make him a more efficient student, but also help him stand out positively. The monk knew that this would be an essential step in the boy's journey toward improving his studies. The monk then paused and, with a gentle smile, spoke about something many students often overlook: physical and mental health. Your body is the temple of your mind, he said. For the boy to focus and absorb what he studied, he would need to take care of both. The monk recommended a balanced diet, rich in brain-boosting nutrients like nuts, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. When consumed regularly, these foods would help improve memory and mental clarity, both essential for concentration in studies. In addition to diet, the monk emphasized the importance of physical exercise. You don't need to be an athlete, but moving your body for at least 30 minutes every day will make a huge difference. This wouldn't just keep the boy physically active, but also help reduce stress and improve sleep quality. The monk explained that with a well-rested mind and a healthy body, the learning journey would become much lighter. After all, a tired body makes any task harder, while a balanced body makes focus easier. Lastly, he mentioned the importance of good sleep. Sleep is not a waste of time, it's when your mind processes everything you've learned. The boy began to understand that maintaining both physical and mental health was an integral part of his journey towards self-discovery. A healthy mind in a healthy body was the path to not only academic success, but also a more balanced and fulfilling life. The monk looked seriously at the boy and spoke about one of the biggest enemies of concentration: distractions. To truly focus, you need to create an environment that supports your goal, he said. This meant that the study space should be quiet, free from interruptions and stimuli that could divert attention. He suggested the boy choose a specific place to study every day, a space where his mind would automatically associate with focus and productivity. Put your phone aside, turn off notifications, and you'll see how much your focus improves, the monk advised. Additionally, the monk warned against the habit of studying in bed. Your bed is for sleeping, and if you study there, your body will understand that it's time to rest, not to work. He suggested that the boy arrange a comfortable desk and chair where he could sit properly and keep his mind alert. When we get too physically comfortable, like in bed, sleep and laziness take over, compromising productivity. The boy began to reflect on how these small adjustments to his environment could have a profound impact on his ability to study more efficiently. For moments when his focus began to wane, the monk suggested short breaks. When you feel your mind is tired, get up, walk for a bit, take a breath of fresh air, or even do a short meditation. Then, return to your studies with a renewed mind. The idea was clear: minimize distractions, not eliminate them entirely, and learn to handle them when they appeared. This, the boy thought, would be a major advancement in his practice of mindfulness and his path towards self-discovery. The monk, always with his characteristic serenity, moved on to a practical aspect the boy could implement immediately: taking notes. Your mind can be tricky, the monk said with a slight smile. It will make you think you'll remember everything you studied, but in reality, only a fraction will stay with you. That's why taking short but consistent notes is so important. They not only help reinforce what was studied, but also make the review process much more efficient. He explained that by writing, the boy would be solidifying the knowledge in his long-term memory. The monk suggested the boy organize his notes into topics, creating a logical structure that would help with understanding. Instead of passively copying, he should rewrite ideas in his own words, making the learning process more active and dynamic. This wouldn't just help in the moment, but also during exam revisions, saving time and increasing information retention. Additionally, the monk emphasized the power of repetition. When you review your notes frequently, they become part of you, he said. In this way, the boy wouldn't need to cram the night before an exam. With well-organized notes reviewed regularly, he would always be prepared. This habit, the monk explained, would be essential not just for studies, but for other areas of life where continuous learning would be the key to progress and self-discovery. At the end of their conversation, the monk looked at the boy with a calm yet determined expression. Now that you have all these tools, it's time to put them into practice, he said. Knowledge alone is not enough, you must act on it. The boy felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension, realizing that his learning journey was just beginning. The monk reminded him that progress would come little by little and that each small daily action would contribute to a greater transformation. Buddhist teaching shows us that patience and constant practice are the foundations of growth. The monk suggested the boy start with small steps, incorporating a study routine, meditating for 5 minutes each day, organizing his study environment, and starting to take short and objective notes. These actions, though simple, had the power to create lasting impact. Don't worry about being perfect, the monk advised. Just be consistent. Discipline and focus, combined with daily practice, would be enough for the boy to see results not only in his studies but in all areas of his life. With a nod, the boy promised the monk he would follow each of these pieces of advice. He understood that his transformation depended entirely on his willingness to act. The journey of self-discovery is built day by day, step by step. And so, with a new sense of direction, the boy left the monk, ready to face his challenges with a renewed perspective and a heart full of determination. Now that you know these powerful strategies, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep struggling with lack of focus and fatigue, Or will you start applying these valuable lessons the boy learned from the Buddhist monk? Transformation begins the moment you decide to act. Meditation, discipline, mental and physical health, mindfulness, all of this is within your reach. Are you ready to take the first step on your journey of self-discovery and drastically improve your studies? Take a moment to imagine, how would your life be if you could study more efficiently, have more free time, and still achieve better results? If you want that change, don't wait until tomorrow. Start now. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning more about how to increase your focus, improve your concentration, and master the teachings of Buddhist teaching. The opportunity to transform your studies and your life is right here. Let's go on this journey together.